Now we're going to talk about the least understood or the least known component, which is called the bent elbow push. And really this component is what really ties all the rest of the elements together. If you watch the Flatwater Olympians, I have a great picture of the Olympic K4. And at the end of the stroke, all four guys are looking directly over their forearm. And if you're someone who's read a lot of books or you've been paddling a long time, you've probably heard of two rules. The first rule said you should always punch down the center line of the boat. And the other rule said never cross the center line of the boat with the pushing hand. I like to take both of those rules, crumple them up, throw them over our shoulders, and forget about them, because I think they were fine rules when in the days of arm paddling, but we're not talking about arm paddling in this video. It's fine to cross all the way over as far as you can because you want to maximize rotation. And I'm going to say that I don't want to see your arm straighten out like this. I want to see your arm push with a bent elbow all the way across. When it gets all the way to here, then there's the forward component with the spear, and then off again with a push bent elbow on the other side. So what I want to do is I want to tie the rotation of my torso, all this power here, to the power at the blade face. And the way I do that is I rotate, chicken wing, catch, and I wouldn't punch down the center line of the boat, nor would I stop my rotation short by coming across and stopping here and only getting half the rotation. What I would do is I'd rotate, chicken wing, catch, and then push with a bent elbow all the way across to where my hand is actually way across the center line of the boat. It's way over here, and I'm looking across the top of my forearm. So I have not punched, and I have crossed the center line of the boat. You have to cross the center line of the boat. There'd be no reason why I would take a stroke here and stop. Okay? And I also maintain a bend in my elbow, so I come all the way across here trying to keep the blade face vertical. And that's the reason that we do the bent elbow push. If you take the stroke, if you punch down the center line of the boat, look at, if I foreshorten this, if I push here, the paddle's going to do an arcing motion in the water. It's either pushing down or it's pulling up. If it's pushing down, it's driving the boat up. If it's pulling up, it's sucking the boat hull down. So what you're trying to do here is maximize the amount of time that the blade face remains vertical in the water. If you were to imagine the perfect paddling machine, it'd probably be something that looks like this. The paddle would come out of the water in the air, it'd go all the way to the front of your boat, drop the blade in totally vertically, came all the way to the back end of the boat, pulled it totally straight out, moved it forward, went vertical. Okay? That would be the perfect paddling machine. But we can't do that because we're human beings and we're tied to the paddle with two hands. However, by pushing with a bent elbow, we get a much greater vertical aspect on the blade face than we would if we were punching down the center line of the boat. We put the blade in the water with our bent elbow, and we maintain that bend in our elbow, and we lock it to our torso, and we rotate. And you can see that that blade more closely resembles a vertical aspect for much longer in the water. Pushing with a bent elbow might make sense right now, as you see it, but when you get out in the water and try it, it's going to feel really strange. So you just have to bear with me and realize that there's a lot of power to be generated by maintaining a vertical blade face as long as possible versus pushing down on water or pulling up on water. Just a natural human tendency. As the blade goes in the water, you're going to have a nice bent elbow to here, and then when you get about to here, you're going to have a tendency to push, and you're going to have to just fight that tendency. Try to just think about one way you can do it is visualize that your arm, once you do the chicken wing, that's in a cast. In other words, see the bend I have in my arm here? See how it's 90 degrees? So basically, you just rotate, elbow lift, put the blade in the water, and then right here, you just maintain that bend in your arm, and you rotate with turning your body to drive the boat. And your arm just comes straight across. And you just want to keep that same alignment right there with your shoulder, elbow, wrist right there. The blade goes in, and just keep that like it's in a cast. So you get all the way here, then the elbow lift here, and then you slide the blade in forward with the top hand. So when you take your stroke here, you rotate, chicken wing, catch. Sometimes people have a tendency to lean away from the stroke when they're doing the bent elbow push. These people are moving independent of their torso. They're just doing the motion with their arms but they're not really locking into the power of their torso. So the whole reason for pushing with a bent elbow is to get right here locked and then drive the boat with the twisting of your body here. And that your torso is what really powers the blade, and the blade just moves the boat along better because it's going in the water in more vertical aspect. And that's what we're striving for, is to get a vertical blade as long as possible. Here's just punching down the center line of the boat. That's what this looks like, with my arms just straight. Okay, now here's pushing with the bent elbow. See the elbow come up, the blade goes in, and then you maintain this bend and look straight forward over the forearm. Boom, boom, boom. Open the fingers with our pushing hands, and it doesn't have to be wide open like this. It can just be barely just your little finger, little pinky being relaxed. But whatever, be sure you have a relaxed grip on the paddle. And here's pushing with the bent elbow, where I'm looking across the forearm. My hands are maintaining the same elevation above the surface of the water. And so here's the horizontal figure eight forward. People come up like this, come down like this, up like this. There's no reason. Put the blade in the water, let your hands come across about eye level, and up with the elbow, back in, boom, boom, up. End up looking over my forearm. When I'm done, that means my hands are way across the center line, which means I'm getting maximal rotation out of my torso. And that's what I'm looking for, right there. Now keep that blade, I'm trying to get that blade vertical